Learning mathematics, doing mathematics, teaching mathematics all require an ability to work with the traditional written symbols of mathematics. But acquiring that ability is not a simple matter, and some symbols, including the minus sign, cause lots of confusion for learners. Enter the minus sign project. This presentation previews what participants in the minus sign project will be doing. I'll very briefly talk about the 3 items on this slide. So, how will we study this troublesome symbol? First of all, we'll study it comprehensively, that is, across the entire school curriculum, using a series of monthly focal topics such as subtraction, negative numbers, algebraic equations, functions. This is reflected in our 2-part logo, where the left-hand side shows 5-year-old Sadie's problem solving, and the right-hand side shows a type of mathematical expression known to produce errors even among university mathematics students. Our first monthly topic will be early years mathematics, along with multiple representations and the notion of symbol sense, which may be new to some participants. Why start at early years? Sadie's work doesn't even have a minus sign, and learners usually don't encounter the minus sign before their introduction to subtraction, where it's not terribly bothersome. The bothersome part comes later in most cases, after learners are introduced to negative numbers. But beginning with early years matters a lot, because the seeds for minus sign success, and indeed success with other mathematical symbols, may be planted well before children ever encounter the minus sign, when they first begin to express their mathematical thinking with some sort of external representation. Sadie's work represents that important early stage. We'll discuss what she did and how it matters. Months later, following the minus sign through the school curriculum, we'll be able to relate Sadie's work to the right-hand side of our logo. The arrows on the logo indicate that the 2 are related. We can connect them. Connections are really at the heart of this project. We know that when students experience mathematics as a set of linked ideas rather than as isolated topics, their learning is scaffolded. Although there's lots of evidence to support this idea of connected math, it can be very difficult for a teacher to teach connectively. The dots on this slide represent instances of the minus sign. To connect the minus sign dots, we'll use several overarching or big ideas such as symbol sense, which I mentioned earlier, and then test these big ideas as connecting links. Our aim in all of this connecting is to reduce learners' minus sign confusion. Another way we'll investigate the minus sign is to zoom in and look at individual problems. Here's a problem contributed by a secondary maths teacher. On the slide are samples of the questions we'll be asking when looking at problems. We can also jointly discuss or construct classroom activities. Participants in the minus sign project will be working with mathematics within and beyond what they teach. They'll also work with colleagues from a range of settings. Just as math's topics should be connected across the curriculum, teachers should be connected. With the minus sign, it's especially important to cross the great primary-secondary divide and build better minus sign bridges for the transition from numeracy to algebraic mathematics. This doesn't mean that we expect early years teachers to do A-level maths, but rather that they are tuned into upper levels of maths in a way that enables them to build the foundations for student success. Similarly, secondary teachers need a thorough understanding of primary maths to support students who often have incomplete understanding of earlier topics. Here's a quote from a Chinese teacher that expresses this idea. Just as working with written symbols is necessary to mathematics, working with resources is necessary for teaching mathematics. Teachers need to know what resources are available, how to decide which of them to select, and how to use them effectively. Nowadays, this is very, very complicated. As teachers have often said to me, there's so much out there. Throughout the minus sign project, various types of resources teachers might draw on for minus sign teaching and other math topics will be examined and critiqued. In collaboration with another project leader, Andreas Stylianidis, I have been investigating math teachers' selection of resources in the UK for several years. Andreas and I will share our findings, insights, and current thinking with project participants. One finding is that some resources that could add muscle to teachers' practice may not be familiar to teachers in the UK. We'll also introduce a framework that can help teachers organize their thinking about resources. And working collectively with project participants, using the minus sign as our focal topic, we can also develop some selection guidelines. Why not come and join us? If you're a teacher who's curious about mathematics, interested in enhancing your practice, and willing to work on behalf of the larger teaching community, we think you'll find the project interesting, enjoyable, and well worth your time.